last we left off, Lucille and your new pal Kingsley were captured. You decided that you were not going to go to Alderheart to rescue them. You went to Ashbarrow to already find it burnt because you wasted so much time. You found Pickle Trill and...
Pickle Snatch and Beowulf.
Pickle Trill and Beowulf, two mice in the destroyed farm. You got out of the farm, got attacked by an owlbear, and then realised that you should have headed to Alderheart to let them know of the destruction. Spend a week travelling, reach Alderheart to see through the bars of a prison just next to this massive tree, the face of Lucille looking out, and Kingsley next to her as you all head up to consult the Council of Alderheart. You know that the council is at the very top of the tree because Harold has been in communication with the council a few times. You are still with Pickle, Trill and Beowulf at the moment. There is a space where the lowest market is, where loads of refugees have come over the past few weeks as all the town's been burned by bandits.
Are they coming as refugees, Pickle Snatch and Beowulf?
Yes.
Can we take them to a higher level and sell them?
Yes, Kim! Oh, that's perfect. Shall we?
Yes.
Shall we? No, they're Charlie's favourite NPCs, meaning
I've got more favourite ones.
Okay, maybe we should sell them.
How about we at least sell Beowulf?
Oh, but they came together. I feel bad separating them, but somehow I don't feel bad selling them.
How about we sell them to an NPC and then take that NPC along with us?
And the cycle continues.
Yeah.
As we're watching Kingsley get beheaded. Then we'll take the executioner on.
From what you can see in this tree going up, so I'm going to start at the bottom, you go up. At the bottom you've got the Underfall, which is going to be the slums of Alderheart. This is where you're going to find the thieves. Up higher you've got the Trunk Market, which is the marketplace in general. Then you've got the branches where all the bird folk live. All the upper class homes are in the boughs. Above that you've got the Canopy Market, which is part of in the leaves themselves. And then at the very top of the tree is the council themselves.
Does anyone want to hang out with any thieves?
Sure.
Yes.
You decide to start burrowing down. There are a series of very earthy tunnels, but the further you go down, it gets darker and darker, and all the roots around you get sharper, spikier, and it's harder to navigate. So whoever's in the lead, I'll need a perception check, please.
21.
You are very easily able to start navigating these tunnels, almost as if you've been here before. Strange beings are passing you. You get loads of mice more than anything else. A bunch of badgers and a few battle-worn raccoons marching through with some kind of weapon on the back. And then you approach a wooden door, and from behind it you hear a bunch of bustling and music, and it seems like some kind of underground tavern or bar.
Are we in the root system sort of thing?
Yeah.
Let's go in.
Princess Luna opens the door just as
loudly
an arrow flies back through the doorway, and you hear it thud into the earth behind your head as a really, really bearded squirrel who's got a scar across his face and an eye patch. He's got a bow and he's trying to hit the dartboard across the room with it. As he goes through, you hear the entire tavern erupt with a cheer. They start cheering the name Scuttlejoy, Scuttlejoy,
Scuttlejoy.
I join in chanting Scuttlejoy.
No one takes much care for you doing it and joining in. They just think that it's just one of us. Around the room, you've got all the seating area seems to be toadstools,
Oh, cute.
which they seem mildly poisonous, which couldn't explain the mood that few of them are in. Doing something into the atmosphere, and you already feel lightheaded as you walk into this place. They're serving drinks, which are mostly green or brown in colour.
I am getting myself a drink.
There's a reasonable queue from a band of other squirrels, swords at the hips.
I'm going to say rather loudly, but in passing sort of thing to the rest of our group. I hear that someone dropped a big bag of nuts outside. Big old bag of peanuts.
Roll a reception check.
13.
They believe this straight away, and I want to let you know that it's been known across this place that most nuts are a rarity. As almost everybody heads out this door to try and find this massive bag of nuts that you promised. The bar's relatively empty now, apart from the barman who now gives you a scowl, who didn't believe this lie. He's like, you scared off all my customers and charging you double.
Bar the door with like a table. Don't let anyone else in.
Can I just have a general intelligence check, I guess?
They're mushrooms.
That's what I mean.
Intelligence, 2.
You manage to uproot one of these mushrooms, but can I have a constitution saving throw as you do this, please?
Mushrooms kill.
7.
As you do it, you take 6 points of poison damage as a cloud of green gas gets in your face. But you still manage to carry the table over, or the mushroom, over to the door and just prop it up against there. It does nothing to stop anyone else getting in. It's quite light.
Mr. Barman, sir, can we get 2-for-1 cocktails, please?
Well, you get 1 for 1 because you're paying double.
That's
No.
30
I
silver
think
or 3 gold if you've got it.
Yep,
Is
indeed I
anybody
do.
else in the bar?
Scuttlejoy is still around, and you see a couple of people who seem to be mice. They seem really into conversation that seems very, as if they've ripped someone off clearly, but it's paid off well for them, so they're quite happy at the moment.
Say hello to Scuttlejoy.
Okay, so as Princess Luna gets the drink,
I am gonna sip it, chill out by the bar.
some kind of grass is the immediate thing you taste. There's an undertone of some kind of flesh. As Harold goes over to Scuttlejoy, who adjusts his iPad one more time, gives a grunt, and then pulls his arrow back and manages to hit the dartboard, but he kind of ricochets off and goes back into the floor again.
I go and collect his fallen darts and bring them back to him.
Can I have a dexterity saving throw, please?
They are sharp.
18.
He's shooting a bow with the arrows at the dartboard. You pick up a few of the arrows and one whistles right over your head as it hits the dartboard very successfully. He begins chanting his own name, like Scuttlejoy, just with like a massive roar of joy.
I'm going up to him to say hello.
I think you should play with him.
I challenge him to a game of whatever
Snaps.
Oh, darts.
thing he's playing.
A drinking competition.
You seem like food, so if I beat you at this, I eat one of your wings. If you win at this, and he pulls out a small sack of gold and just puts it on the table in front of him, you said that's all yours.
My feathers are a bit dry. I offer you a leg.
For that, and he takes out a handful of coins, puts them back in his like really dirty cloak. I'll take a leg, don't mind a leg.
Okay, wing then. Bring that money back out.
Dumps on the table. Can I have just a general perception check from you?
It's a bag full of mushrooms. You can do.
22. You can figure out it's exactly 75 gold pieces.
So if I win, I get the 75. If he wins,
He eats your wing. So he says, 3 shots, and he adjusts his eye patch again. Because I don't know you, don't know your name, don't care for your name. I'll let you take your first shot. You don't add anything to it, just roll a d20, please.
8.
You miss the dartboard. He just laughs for me, and he doesn't do much better himself. He bounces off your arrow and hits the ceiling.
Scuttlejoy!
So he looks at you, and you can interpret it as a wink, but because you've only got one visible eye, it's just one. It looks like he's blinking at you.
I'm going to stand on the side of him that has the eye patch.
You are
Wait,
not.
he winks at me whilst wearing an eye patch. Would you like some bardic inspiration?
So you can use bardic inspiration, but you have to make some kind of noise to alert, and he could interpret that as magic.
I will shout Scuttlejoy again, that'll be the noise.
Right, okay, I'm gonna roll.
Is that a natural 1?
Yep.
Good job, we helped.
Arrow
Music.
goes flying past, and sadly you miss the target yet again. It thinks in just below the target, and Scuttlejoy, he just coughs and says, well, clearly you bet too much on this, as he takes his second shot himself. Natural 1. His arrow pierces your arrow, he gets stuck right inside it, and then he looks at it really sadly and is like, well, I intended to do that, and you take your last shot.
Scuttlejoy! Is the same thing
Bardic
happening?
inspiration.
Oh, natural 20!
Really?
Yeah!
So finally, Harold gets a shot that goes straight through the bullseye, pierces the dartboard, and goes immediately through it. You seem to have won the competition. Scuttlejoy isn't looking too happy about this. You can see him readjust his cloak and
Now
shift
you
some
get
money.
to eat his leg.
He pushes you out of the way really roughly with his shoulder and shoots quite well. Hits the target, and he just kind of hits with a thunk. Wobbles against the dartboard. It seems to have hit a score of like 12. He just sighs and says, well, a deal's a deal. And he takes out the bag of coins, just drops it on the table. He just flicks his little paw, I guess, at the bar. And a drink is slid across the bar, and he catches it. And he just downs it in one. And he says, no, leave me be. And then looks away.
I pocket my bag of coins and leave
Did
him
he
be.
give you all of the coins?
Oh, I count the coins. Thank you.
You count the coins, and you count a total of 45 coins.
I go back to him and I say, "Excuse me, sir, I think I've been shortchanged."
How dare you insult my honesty as a gambler?
I'm going to try and.
When I mentioned the leg,
Pickpocket
can you
him.
never put them back in?
Okay, so Relic is going to try and pickpocket him.
So 21.
I will continue arguing with him as a distraction.
As you continue arguing with him, Relic is able to pickpocket not an extra 30 coins, but he also takes another 50 gold pieces.
I give it all to you.
All?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go back to the bar.
I'm really interested in these hooded mice. I'm still sipping it as I go over there. I'm sort of boogieing.
They seem really happy to have company. The shorter of the two mice takes his hood down. He's completely white. He says, "Take a seat, please. Do you mind if I order you another drink?"
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you.
And he shouts, "A scorched one for our new friend." The barman
Scorched
says,
one.
coming right up. Seems to mix two things together across the bar, and there's a bit kind of burst of purple smoke.
I'll just walk up to it and pick it up, I suppose, if I have to.
It's really cold to the touch. Some kind of steam coming off it, but you're able to take it over the table relatively easily. These mice, okay, so how far have you travelled?
We're just travelling to bring unfortunate news of nearby villages that have been pillaged and raided.
So you do adventuring, is that the kind of thing that you're into?
Oh yeah, I'm big into adventuring, but before I was an adventurer like you, I used to build nests in trees and stuff.
Aren't you a ferret?
I am a ferret, but I used Mage
Ferrets
Hand to
climb
put it
trees?
15 feet high into a tree.
Very specific trees.
Yeah.
He says, well, adventuring, you must have some more gold than you used to.
I get offered gold all the time. I mean, we were with these two travelers and they offered us gold, and I was like, no, not a chance. You don't reach into your pocket for anything. I'm here to save you. Not once looted anything either. I'm a bit of a adventurer.
I was going to offer you a business proposal, but seeing as though you don't do this kind of thing.
I'm always up for a business proposal.
Well, I mean, you'd need some gold to lay down on the table first.
I feel like
How
we're
much
about
do you
to
need?
use the thieves guild.
Let's just start with 50 gold as your base investment.
Call it 51. Slam 51 gold onto the table.
Maybe just a down payment of 100 gold, and the stuff you can see on the return. We have a system for the very well for us.
Scammed.
Not made of gold.
Harry, I feel like you're being scammed. I mean, Luna. Don't know who Harry is.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm gonna take back my 51 gold, mainly because I don't even know if I've got that much gold. Slam down some imaginary gold onto the table. Good luck scamming that.
Scam
No, I
now,
don't want to
boy.
buy a timeshare. Thank you very much.
In 2 days' time, we're going to head into Alderheart's main bank, and we're going to do a bit of an exchange, and we just need a bit of money to offer them up front to be able to. We can double, if not
Yes.
triple, your investment if you come back to us.
Not a
in 2 days'
chance.
time.
No, since my lovely friend Lilypad Alan told me this was a scam, it very much feels like a scam. As much as I loved hanging out with you hooded mice, I'm gonna have to kindly decline.
As you say this,
Window.
the door bursts open, almost shattering the door itself, and these 4 squirrels, like the leader of the 4, goes up to the bar and just slams his fist down and is like, "Where is that ferret?" And the barman doesn't care at all, just points a very stern finger in your direction. They turn towards Princess Luna, march towards you, swords are drawn. "Why do you lie about those peanuts?
Peanuts that were outside. What do you mean? I don't know what you're on about.
You came in here talking about peanuts. We haven't seen a peanut in 12 years of our lives. What kind of
Excuse
business-
me. There was a sack of peanuts that was dropped just outside the road. I just guessed that you squirrels are very, very slow.
The cock seems to be turning in his brain, and he's like, "So someone else got the sack of peanuts, or do you have the sack of peanuts?"
No, I've not got a sack of peanuts. Look at the size of me.
Can I have a dexterity saving throw, please?
Constitution saving throw. They tear Harry apart.
6.
2 of the stronger-looking ones grab you by the ankles and begin just shaking you. Try and find if they've got peanuts in them. Just whatever money you have falls out of your pockets.
Oh, okay, good, because I've no idea how much that is, so I'm just
I
gonna...
know, who's imaginary gold?
I rummage through my rations to search to see if I happen to have any peanuts.
In this woods, for some reason, for the past 15, 20 years, nuts have been a rarity completely because
This cannon. Put me down, guys. The only nuts I see here are you. I'm level.
Well, I wish there was an insult check.
Destruction 18.
I can keep holding you, take whatever money you have, and then leave you be. The bar is now full again.
Let's leave.
Yeah, let's go.
I wanted to see what wares they had for sale.
There's no shop in this area, but you can keep going into the underworld and find some kind of shop. There will be a black market down here somewhere.
I like
Ooh,
that.
black market, that sounds fun.
Okay, perception check, please, from Harold.
16.
Seeking a black market, you are able to find something that resembles one. It's a hedgehog whose all of its quills seem to have been extended, whether magically or not, and they seem to be really, really, really sharp.
So he's a porcupine.
He's still a hedgehog, but they've been
Okay.
stylized. They're very shiny, as if he's done something to them. Dipped in silver, almost. And this guy
Frosted
is...
tips.
Yeah, he's frosted his tips. He pulls out a monocle to look at you, and then the monocle extends as well, like a mini telescope, as he takes in all your features. Hanging above, there's some kind of weird imp in a cage that's gnawing on the skull of some kind of creature. You've got assortment of weapons. They're all stuck into the earth, so you can mainly see the hilts, except for the bows, which hang on rocks, and parts of the roots that have curved upwards and they're able to hang from the bowstrings. You see loads of vials, which have stuff like hair in them or blood. Loads of different books, keys, skulls, some kind of weird bread as well. That's pretty much it, besides your general weapons, armor.
Some of the bread, and also I point up at the imp and I say, is he for sale?
He is. He's a pesky one.
What does he do?
The minute he's released, he'll just chew out the eyes of whoever's in front of them. And then you see him take off this wonderful thing. This is just a hole where his eye once was, and he puts it back on. It seems to resemble an eye again. Took one of mine. I wouldn't advise you open the cage, but if you want to take them off my hands, then 25 gold pieces.
Is there any way to kind of make him not attack?
He pulls out a spell scroll, puts it down and says, for another 10 gold pieces, I'll put in this.
I've got a wand that might help.
Oh, will that help?
It could do.
Never mind, I was just curious. Okay, I'll take the cake bread though, the bread cake.
Hands it over. So anything else? I've got some, pulls out a little chest and just carries like a handful of junk towards you. Amongst that, you see some crystal bits and some cards, fortune teller stuff. Oh, you're a fortune teller.
Yes.
Some of this stuff looks really old, and you're used to using mostly newer stuff. Some of it could be over.
Look at the legs and the shoes and the nipples.
Be safe, be seen.
This is how I'm picturing all these characters.
Can I have a look at the cards, and are there any like runestones?
It goes back to the chest, snuffles around a bit, adjusts his bra. He takes a handful of really, really cracked stones. One of them you can recognise as one you've already got, but this one seems a lot more ancient, like the rest of his stuff, crumbling a bit. And he said, still just as powerful as the day it was bought. And he hands it over. It's a rune you've never seen in your life. Purchased this one from a collector who destroyed a witch, and you can assume her soul is in this runestone as well.
Oh, fun.
Lick it.
But this is
Nice.
a collector's piece. 150 gold pieces for this one.
Will you take 100?
125.
110?
No deal. Can't do that.
117.
150 gold. And I'll throw in this. And he pulls out back in the chest, and it's one of the pendulum things. And he says, now this one has a special charm attached to it.
Okay.
I would buy that on its own.
Deal.
It's a pendulum of charm person. The rest of the stuff he shows you of interest. So there's a left foot of a hanged man who was innocent.
Oh, yes.
He only wants 5 copper pieces for that. He seems very keen to get rid of it.
Can someone buy me a foot, please? Yeah.
Why is it cursed or something?
All feet are cursed. You should know this by now. But if you want to pass it on to someone else, then
I'll take it if someone's willing to buy me it.
I'll buy it for you.
I had all my peanuts shaken out of me.
whoever touches the foot, please tell me.
I will touch it. I volunteer.
Mage hand.
I've already kissed it.
Oh. You can have a constitution
I feel
saving
like one
throw.
of the toes is in his
All I've
mouth.
done is pay for it. I have not touched it.
Constitution saving throw.
With disadvantage, please.
Plus
Not
1,
good
so
enough.
a 9.
Touching it, you seem generally okay, but the moment you kiss it, your fur gets icy cold, and everyone notices him pale, and his fur goes whiter. You're going to take 4 points of cold damage, but also now you're taking 3 levels of exhaustion. You have disadvantage on everything, and your speed is halved for the next 3 days.
Whew, that's not great.
And then finally, he has some official-looking papers which he says is not only blackmail into the upper courts, but will also grant you an audience with the council.
We need that.
They won't take too kindly to you having them, but if you show these papers, it's guaranteed you don't have to wait in line for the 3-4 weeks it takes you to meet with them now.
Take them and use them as a plan B.
It's a good idea.
20 gold pieces for these.
I don't have enough.
I mean, if you want to trade something for them, if you've got anything of value, I'm happy to take it off your hands in exchange for it.
Beowulf.
Slave.
Beowulf.
Pickle Trill, you see him slowly go towards his short sword, and Beowulf grabs his mace handle.
Should all three of us persuade him?
Can I use my pendulum?
Can use your pendulum. I got a natural 1 and a 3.
Wonderful.
You charm them very successfully, and he thinks it's a really good idea to go into servitude to this man. Pickle Trill is like, Beowulf, it's good for you. I mean, look at his stall. He has all these magic items you can play with, and Beowulf's like, yeah. Yeah, you know, you've been wanting to find a new life. We've been saying it since we've got here.
Hey, why don't you both go? And then I say to the guy, and we can have something else.
So this guy is like, seeing that you've just done this to them, noticing this can be very advantageous for himself. He's like, okay, tell you what, here's a skeleton key. It will go nicely with the papers as a bonus.
How long does your charm thing last?
An hour.
Right, I'm going to write a little note to Pickle Trill saying...
Aye! With lots of ease.
Saying, steal as much as you can and we'll meet you somewhere, just for when he comes back round.
Yeah, at the tavern.
Great, so these two are handed over.
Who wants the papers and the key?
I would like the key.
What does the key do?
It's a skeleton key.
I think since Luna's the leader, Luna should have the papers.
Is it a good idea for me to even hold the papers in my current state?
I'll hold on to them for now then.
Great, so you leave Pickle Trill and you leave Beowulf in the service of this guy. So you're heading back up to the surface now?
Yeah.
Luna is in a really bad state right now. She's kind of walking like a zombie.
I've got an idea, guys. We need
What's
to find
on that?
out where their water source is, where
Why?
their mains are. I'm
Stick the
dropping this
foot
foot
in
in it.
When we leave, we'll do that when we leave.
So you wander back up to the surface of Alderheart.
Uh,
You do notice that the prison in the distance, and you see Lucille holding the bars and just looking at you, glaring at you as if you betrayed her.
I wave and then put up my middle feather.
Just on top of your head, the middle one.
I reckon we leave them. Like, we moved on.
I want to try and save him.
Yeah, okay, Kingsley.
Not Lucille, just Kingsley.
Yeah.
Can I use my wand on him and see what happens?
If you want to use your one.
Oh, could you use the one to maybe like shrink him so that he can get out of the...
Who knows?
just-
Or just grow him so he just explodes out.
Random, right?
I use my message thing to
Okay.
message Kingsley and say, we can only save one of you and we've chosen to save you. He can whisper back, can't he? Just the
Yeah.
once. What does he say?
You get a sense that he's been crying,
Oh.
and he's like, oh, okay.
Oh, baby.
And he's like, thank you for selecting me. As Princess Luna takes out the wand and does a swishing flick, and what happens, please? Give me a number.
32.
As soon as
He
Princess
just
Luna
dies
waves the wand,
instantly.
you hear a sound of a thunderclap as buckets and buckets of rain just begin falling over the prison. It mainly seems to be centering on the room itself where Kingsley is trapped. He looks up at the thing, you see his little
Just
whiskers.
bars, will it not just flow out?
No, so it's a full-on prison building. Of everything,
Okay.
everything is wooden here, except the stone prison and iron bars. So there is the general prison. There are loads of guards in there, a bunch of captive people. Kingsley and Lucille are here. The four of you are around here now.
Does anyone have anything that can like melt the bars?
Perhaps.
Fire hands.
Fire
Could
hand!
just cook everyone else inside though.
Oh.
Well-
okay. I mean,
It's still raining, so it's going to be hard to set fire to it.
So I've got to roll at disadvantage as well.
Two of these guards begin making their way through the doors. This guy's chained to a post, and they just go through, and then they're just going to start watching from the window to make sure nothing weird is going on.
he just got bigger.
Just got very long.
Kind of watching the rain more than anything else.
I could use the wand again.
Use the
Stop.
one
Yeah.
again. If
Okay.
anything, it can be a distraction.
I'm going to go flare.
98.
You have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, and I've still got to roll that at disadvantage.
Oh yeah.
So it's a 2 plus my
The thing
constitution.
with Charlie being the DM is if you don't remind him
3.
of stuff, you can
Yeah.
usually get away with anything.
All right.
It's a 3 constitution save.
You have been transformed into a solid inanimate substance, so stone. You cease aging, you're incapacitated, you can't move or speak, and you're unaware of your surroundings. You're holding a wand outstretched and you just become a stone statue.
So Luna's a rock.
Yep.
Can we throw Luna at the bars?
You can try.
You can't be fixed unless a greater restoration spell is cast on you. You can now play as Kingsley.
I'll play as Kingsley.
These guards are noticing some suspicious stuff, and as the rain begins to ease off, 3 of these guards come to you and demand to know where the statue came from.
Okay, so yeah, whoever's just come over, I use the pendulum thing to try to convince them that they've captured Kingsley mistakenly. He's an 8-year-old child, and he is my adopted son.
I'm going to shout, Mum!
It sounds plausible, and I'm on your side here. I see that you feel bad for this guy. We all feel bad for this guy. It's like
I'm going to climb up to the window, cry, roll a performance, and then be like, Mum, don't let them kill me! Okay, it's just 3.
Look at him, he's terrified.
we all feel sorry for him. There's nothing we can do. If you get the right papers of his release,
Wait, I have a skeleton key. Can I hand him the skeleton key through the bars?
roll a sleight of hand check, please.
16.
You're able to slip in the skeleton key. Let's say with your tongue, because it's long enough to get over the bars. You hand him this key.
What I find really funny is that I'm clearly male, and Kingsley keeps calling me Mum.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine, I raised you on my own. I am both mother and father. You call me both.
He's clearly male owl.
Mum, Dad. Dad, Mum. Shall we get going then?
Yes.
See you later, son.
Goodbye, Mum, Dad.
We want to get to the council. See what these papers get us.
Yeah.
Cool. You pass all the rich houses, which look pretty much elaborate bird houses, with little fountains and water features and all kind of nonsense that rich
Nonsense.
people would have, but in bird form.
The owl suburbs.
The owl suburbs. Further and further you get up, you reach the council, and there's already a few foremen and a guy with a large short sword.
So a sword?
A chunky sword.
A regular sword.
I was going to say broadsword, but that kind of came out completely wrong. Comes forward, and he's like, right, papers.
I hand him the papers.
He looks over and his eyes widen, and he recognises this threat and this blackmail immediately. You had a look at the papers on your way up and realised that it's a scandal involving ripping a load of people off, claiming too much tax and stealing it personally. Recognises it as a threat, and says, you have been bumped up a bit in the queue. We can't get you in tonight, but come back tomorrow morning. And
But we don't have that time. We need to see the council now.
yeah, well, you see, there's a queue, and we can't just barge in there.
But
Do you know who this is?
Huh?
Do you know who this is? This is Harold.
Yeah.
Who's
Do you know who I am? Read these papers again. I think maybe. Yeah. Do you wear spectacles? Try them again with your spectacles.
Ooh, savage.
Recognize what I'm showing you here. What is it?
Harold's mentioned in these papers.
We need to see the council now.
Well, I'm afraid it can't happen.
Pendulum.
I've seen your trickery before, the types of you. I've none of it here.
How would you feel about a bag full of peanuts?
His ears, you see, twitch. A bag of peanuts.
Oh, here we
Okay.
go. You can create a non-magical trinket or an illusory image that can fit in your hand and last until the end of your next turn. And like an open so that you can see what's in it, but I won't hand it to him. Bag of peanuts.
Okay, I'll let you. But it's just a very, very small sack of peanuts.
Mhm.
And his eyes widen even more at this. And you see his hand slowly reach towards the sack.
I snatch them away.
He's like, okay,
Get us into the council meeting now, and you can have these.
right you are. And you see him pull out a scroll, crosses loads of names out, goes up to him and says, we're closed for this evening, we're closed. And you see massive grumbling. People start swearing it in. Nothing more we can do. We've got high important threat to the nation. We need to get them in now. This queue, very disgruntled. Some people try and hit you in the back of your head as you enter the massive oak doors to the council room. And that is where we end this session for this evening.